Alright, let's see how it tastes. It's so good. Extremely tender, just like I don't have to do anything to get it off the bone. Can we just say a prayer for all the vegetarian people out there? Must be such a horrific life. Can't even imagine going a day without eating meat. It's like better than candy and cake, all that shit. Just been sitting in the pot for like 4 hours now. So yeah, it's really tender. And if every time, I think that is the best way to make things like Osso Buco, because it's gonna get way more tender than just doing it really high in speed. Usually, obviously, I would do it maybe with some vegetable stuff like that, but doing it also like this alone is fine. And I can still mix it up with some, after my training, with some rice, stuff like that, and just as a meal, and I'm gonna have some really tender meat with it. So that's extremely good. Anyways, just before we go to the gym today, I want to talk a little bit about some life updates, because today is Monday and on Saturday I should have a job meeting. So if you don't know where I'm working now, I'm working in a kitchen in a hospital as a house assistant. So mostly I help when the new delivery comes of all the food and stuff like that, putting that in the fridges and the freezers over there for like 1 hour, and then I often help with the dishwashing, where we have like big machines doing the job. And sometimes I help with some of the food, because if there's illness or something like that and they can't get something to replace the person, then I'll get out there. But mostly I'm just in the dishwashing, and it's an alright job. I mean, the salary is fine because I do the dumpster diving, and I am really good at not using money, and using investing money, stuff like that. I don't have a problem in terms of my economy. Like, that is all fine. And the people I work with, they're all very nice people. Probably one of the best places you can work in Denmark, I would say. There's rarely any like bad days for anyone, like any big discussions going on, stuff like that. So it's a very good place to work. It's just not very fulfilling in terms of what I want to achieve. I've been here for a bit over 2 years now. So the work itself is just like boring as hell. I mean, it's good to have something where I know exactly what you're gonna do day in, day out. That's always nice that you have like routines, but this part is like, I want to be able to do some coaching, and I have actually got that opportunity right now. So in Aalborg, which is in the northern end of Denmark, I've got the opportunity to go to a job meeting at a gym called Tory's Gym. The owner is called Rasmus Tori, and he's been following my Instagram for some time, following along with what I shared about my clients, my own training, and it has been impressed, especially by my own progress. And so he reached out to me, and we agreed on a time to meet up. And basically, his gym, he has himself and 3 others that are doing personal training, and they're all fully booked. So they I'm gonna need one more eventually. And what they all have, like, it's not just strength training, not just bodybuilding or powerlifting. It's also gymnastic stuff. And if you have been following me, you know that I can do stuff like handstands as well, things like that. Drop a lot of body weight things. So I think he's also very attracted by it for that reason. So I hope that as long as I don't say anything extremely bad, um, as long as I just sound somewhat smart, and yeah, and you can hear that I have a lot of knowledge about training, stuff like that. Hopefully I can get the job when he a few months or something, or maybe very soon, when he will hire that extra personal trainer. That's the goal now. Yeah, because I mean online coaching is fine, but the hard thing is that you can really put on that personal touch, right? I mean, you can make really good programs, stuff like that, but it's hard to really like, for example, if I'm gonna work with someone on a lift, like a circuit deadlift, it's gonna be way easier in person to teach stuff about the back to that person in the lift. It's gonna be way easier to yeah, just explain stuff in general, like motivate people, things like that. It just makes everything a lot more fun, and you get a lot of interactions with people every day. I mean, the thing I really want to do is, like, eventually, it's just I would like to work with athletes, because I see so many people that train some of the biggest athletes in the world, like LeBron James, and it seems like they have no knowledge about proper training. At least what they're doing for the athletes are total bullshit. Doing all the things like where they bird dog exercise and stuff like that. I don't know, man. Like all kind of shit that doesn't make sense in terms of the sport. Um, and they end up injured, things like that. Doing like half squats, kind of shit, like bad form. All kind of stability work, hip thrust, stuff like that. Like it doesn't make sense in terms of the sport. They should just be doing some basic strength exercises, probably not extremely hard, because I mean, if someone like LeBron James get injured, the personal trainer is in fucking big trouble if it happens under his gym training, right? So you just need to be something that strengthens them a little bit and make sure they don't get injured, because after all, what is gonna get them better at the sport? It's not really the gym. It's playing with a basketball. So yeah, that's actually what I really want to do, like work with people like that, because I think there's a lot of potential there, and a lot of people that are just not, even though they have educations, they're just not very good. And I've talked about that with other people as well, that the your education is not the only thing that tells if you know something. Practice is like being in the sport for yourself. Having tried it is probably more of an indicator that you know something about it than an education itself, because that can be, it can vary a lot, like how good people are, like physiotherapists as well, doctors, everything. So when you're looking for someone, you want to try to find the best. Yeah, so that's really what I want to do. I think this has been enough talking now. Um, I need to get training, and then I need to get home, and I'll get some dinner and probably give a little bit of an update on how the training went. Brilliant training again today. The front squats, as you can see right now, I'm trying to push the paused variation a little bit more because I haven't done it for a while. Also, it'll allow me to use less weight, and I'm pushing like more rep PRs right now instead of volume PRs.
to get in a little bit less really hard reps. Like today I did 7 with 130, and I could probably have done 2 more, maybe even 3 if I took enough rest at the top on some of the reps, but I really tried to push it in one unbroken set, which I managed to do. And then I did 4 sets of 7 with 110, which was nowhere close to failure. I would say on the last set I could probably have done 4 more, maybe even 5. I even did it with only nasal breathing, so no breathing through the mouth, which is obviously going to make it significantly harder because you're going to be able to take in less air. But that's also something that I'm using to keep the fatigue a little bit lower and the arousal a little bit lower, things like that. And also with just doing rep pairs instead, it's just easier to tackle it. And like, instead of having to do 5 hard sets, I would have to do 1. So that's a win in my opinion. Then moving on to the good mornings, those felt extremely good. I worked up to a set of 15 with 70 kg. And that's definitely a PR. I know I have done 8 with 80 kg before, but that was like the first set I did. Today I did 15 with 50 kg, then 55, then 60 as well. No, 65. Yeah, 50, 60, 65, and 70. So in my first set, and the sets with 60 and 65, they're already getting up to weights that are going to fatigue me a little bit. And also went deeper than I did just 2 days ago. You might wonder why I'm doing good mornings 2 days ago and then today now already. Wouldn't it be better to wait until I'm fully recovered? And in most cases it would. But the idea behind this is that I'll be able to perform well when I'm still a little bit fatigued. And the reason I'm placed the workouts as I have, right, with the past good mornings when I have the most energy and the normal just with no pause when I have less energy, both because it's on a Monday and I've been at work and because I'm fatigued from the lower body training just 2 days earlier. It's because with good mornings on Saturday, the post reps, they're already limiting about 10% of what I can do. Then by having the fatigue on the second day, again, it's gonna limit how much weight I can use. So I'm learning to deal with fatigue and still be able to perform well. And I'm also having to use less weight to get an optimal stimulus to grow and get stronger, which is going to cause less fatigue. So what I'll do is I'll do this for a while, then eventually I'll switch it around. So I'm doing the normal good mornings on the Saturday, and I can use the most amount of weight possible. And that's when I like to believe that I can get up and get 10 reps with 100 kg. And I'll probably stick to the same workout on the Saturday for my post good mornings because right now I'm doing up to 20 reps with 60 kg post. And I'll continue doing that, making it easier doing multiple sets at that weight before increasing. When I'm shifted around, I'll just stick to the same because I'm not going to failure, I have to remember that. So I can I can definitely still keep on doing it on the Monday, even with some fatigue. So that's the idea that I'm going to test here. So I'll let you know how it works, as I always do, when I try out these different systems, or whatever you want to call it. Before I leave, I should say, I would like to just discuss a little bit what the reason is for doing this extended range of motion exercises, like the circuit deadlift, like these good mornings, like really deep flies. And the idea is that because you're already working in an extended range of motion, when you decide to do, let's use dumbbell presses as an example, right? You're already strengthening your tissue in this extreme range here, getting a huge stretch in the chest. So when you're doing dumbbell presses just in the standard range of motion, you're obviously going to be training a lot heavier. And if you are going to be so unlucky that you fail a rep and you end up getting into a really deep stretch position, because you have done the extended range of motion stuff, you have already bulletproofed your body to avoid catastrophe here, and so you're avoiding a potential chest tendon rupture by having trained that before. Because if you haven't done that, your connective tissue wouldn't be used to that position, it wouldn't be strong in it. So you're likely going to get some kind of pain. Or at least the chance is going to be higher. And the second reason is that when you get into just normal range of motion, it's going to feel like a partial. Like going from a circuit deadlift to a normal deadlift, it's going to feel like there's no range of motion. Though there's obviously still a decent range of motion in a conventional deadlift, I'm used to doing pretty much double the range of motion. So it's going to feel like significantly less. And there's going to be no injury risk for me, because, there still is, and I always talk about how the flexibility doesn't decrease injury risk, because if you're overtraining and your body is risking getting injured either way. But there's going to be less injury risk in the way that I'm not risking that the weight puts me into a position that I have like absolutely no strength in. I'll have like significantly lots of strength in all the positions. Like with the dumbbell presses, when you get down here and if this happens, then you have to drop the weight this way. If you have already done flies like me with 24 kgs like this, and you're gonna be almost twice as strong in the eccentric part, then you can easily just control it and let go of it that way. So that's a huge benefit of having done these extended range of motion exercises, and some reasons for doing them that I think a lot of people often miss. Like my lower back, because it's used to this and all this rounding, doing a normal deadlift, if I get to round a little bit, it's gonna be used to it, because I've simply done it for so long and in way more riskier positions than what is going on during a deadlift. So that's basically all of it, yeah. You also saw me do banded Nordics, so I'll be doing them on Mondays, and I'll be doing normal good mornings on the on Saturdays. Not good mornings, normal Nordic curls on Saturdays. And the way I'm going to be doing this here is just that I'll do half of my max in the 2 or 3 first sets, and then I'll try to set a new PR in the last set. And if I don't PR, I can easily just add another rep in some of the first sets, and I'll have done more total reps. So that's it for now. I'll see you all for the next training on Wednesday.